Let me let Ryan in the room. So good morning, you guys. We have a lot of stuff to cover. I kind of want to do a recap of some things that if you were in the office yesterday with Eric, I want to hear some of the dialogue that you guys were hearing because I think it's important. I think, becoming masterful at your dialogue. We're continuing to have these conversations. So I'm curious, once we kind of get past the first part of coaching, I want to hear what some of your takeaways were from yesterday. We're also going to be making some enhancements to group coaching because I was thinking about it. I'm in these rooms and we're going all over the country and internationally talking to people from all different walks of life. And what I'd like to do is on Wednesdays, I'd like to start featuring, huge players in the industry that coincide with what we do here, because I think that there's some great opportunity for us to learn, because some of you might not be at the stage where maybe it just doesn't fit into the budget to go to some of these big events. But we're going to these big events. We have a bunch of stuff that we're learning, and we're meeting some amazing people and forming great alliances and partnerships across the world. So I'd love to start bringing people in on Wednesday, just kind of shake things up and do things a little bit different. I'm also going to create a type form for you guys, and the type form is going to be called questions@keepitmovingcoaching.com. And every single week, you guys will get that, and you guys will be able to submit any of your questions and thoughts and dialogue and be like, hey, I'm having challenges with this. I'm having challenges with this. That way, in group coaching, I can look at the list. I can highlight 5 questions, 3 questions. I can say, you know what? Let's go in. Let's ask this question. Actually, I know Colette is somebody that has done really good with this category. Colette, how would you answer this question? Or, for example, Otis is really good on this question, so let's go over to Otis. And so I want to make sure that you guys are funneling in questions. That way we can get super, super hyper focused on the things that you guys need to improve and grow. So it's not necessarily just coming from me or just coming from Eric. These are your questions, your thoughts, your ideas, your insight. And so you're going to start seeing some enhancements to group coaching as we grow. And then we're going to start putting clips from each of you. Obviously, as you guys talk, what I'm going to have Judith do is categorize different things that you guys are saying. And then when it's in the newsletter, be like, okay, oh, Clarence just said this paragraph. Hector said this paragraph. And then you guys can use those. You can, it's going to be in our weekly newsletter for coaching. It's called Keep It Moving Coaching. So that I'm going to have a newsletter that is just going to highlight this room right here, that it's separate from our Team Fast newsletter that goes out about events and what's going on in the company. So it's going to be super, super hyper focused, because I'll tell you what, we're hearing so many great gems in here, and I'm trying to clip and phrase it, but at the end of the day, like, we're going to make sure that that is housed somewhere every single week, and that you guys can share that and give back. And so really, really excited about that, new advancements, new opportunities. And so without further ado, I'm actually going to go over to, let me see. I'm going to go over to Ilona. Ilona, I'm going to have you bring us out on the field on this beautiful, beautiful Friday morning. Super mom over there. Been hustling in the office all the time. I don't know what the red nose was, but nonetheless, it was fun. It was comical. I got it. Anyways, so let's have you take us out on the field on this beautiful Friday morning. So rally the troops.
Good morning, everybody. Happy Friday. I don't know if you saw my red nose, but that's something that I use. I have a little clown nose, and sometimes when things get a little overwhelming for me, or when I need to check myself and remind myself that I don't need to be so hard on myself, or that I need to make fun of some things. So that little red nose keeps things light for me. And I really like putting a smile on other people's faces and engaging with people. And it's my way to open a door to a fun conversation or a fun look or a way to just engage with people. And so think about something that you have that makes a conversation starter for you. And I always keep something strange in my bag for that purpose. And I find that really useful. And I think that if we take that into consideration, we have something that makes us feel like you don't have to be so serious, but also something that starts a conversation. It could be a really nice tool. And just remember, don't be so hard on yourself, because sometimes I can get down on myself and that negative talk and all that stuff, you just got to snap out of it and remember that you're putting one foot forward in front of the other and things are happening. So
I love this. And Ilona, some of us are just strange, so we don't need anything else. Some of us we're just weird and strange on the surface. So, but I love that, because I think it brings some levity to the situation. It helps you put yourself in a different frame. So I think that's really cool, really positive. So I appreciate you sharing. So let's do this, you guys. I want to do a couple takeaways from script role play yesterday. I want to hear some things that you guys heard. I want you guys to share. So Eric, did you want to kick it off, bro?
Yeah, I did. First and foremost, I just wanted to thank everyone that came out. It, like, you know, when I put it out, made that stupid TikTok and put it out there, you know, I was a little nervous. You know, I was, you know, didn't know who would show up, but it was really awesome to see that, you know, people are hungry to learn and hungry to hone in their craft and hungry to get the ball rolling. Because, you know, as we talked about yesterday, you know, getting on the phones is really the big part of our job. Prospecting is our job, right? So it was really affirming to see all of you guys out there. I want to make this a weekly thing. I forgot, I mean, for those who attended yesterday, I said, let's do it next week. I forgot I'm going to a wedding next week, but starting the 12th, I want to get this thing going on a weekly basis on Thursdays. I'm thinking I'll confirm with y'all on Slack what time exactly, but I want to get this rolling because it was super powerful and it was really cool to see people's eyes light up and get super inspired to get out there and get on the phones. And I think Vanessa yesterday, as she was leaving, she even told me, she was like, you know what, I'm going to start doing this now. And so I think, you know, it's that little kick of motivation that we all need, right? Whether we're brand new or rolling already. But I think all of us can use that motivation. And by practicing, it's really going to, you know, get us to that next level. And I think that's going to be reflected in our businesses. So I'm super excited to see this grow. Yeah, I can't wait to get it rolling. So stay tuned. I will make an announcement probably at our next team meeting on the time and exact days and stuff like that. So just want to thank everybody. Feeling super, super, super grateful today.
Love it, bro. Love it. Love it. So I'd like to hear from at least one or two people about maybe something that they learned, a phrase, a way to overcome an objection. And here's what's cool as we grow and as we develop as a group, some of you might not be able to make it in the office. So what we can do, and what I learned on Zoom, is that we could do breakout rooms. So say Eric wants to lead a room of 5 people, Otis wants to lead a room, Sarah wants to lead a room, Jim wants to lead a room. So then we all in group coaching say, here's a couple few objections or whatever the case is. We break out into these rooms and then we come together back in a few minutes and we're like, all right, cool. What did group A learn? What did group B learn? That way, like in the masses as well, we can do that. So good stuff, Eric. Love it. So Otis, you had your hand up, bro. Let's hear from you first.
First and foremost, happy Friday, everybody. I want to send a shout out to my girl Denitza for writing her first offer and my boy Nick for becoming a mentor. Just want to give some praises to the team on this Friday. I just want to say thank you for Eric, man, because someone that's been struggling, you know, he kind of just put it out there, like, you know, like, what the hell are you doing on your website, doing this things when this is like 90% of your business. So picking up on that, and like, this is something that, you know, I need to be doing daily. The biggest takeaway that I got out of it was when Ernesto said, you know, pretty much before you hop on the phone, you should have a goal of what you want. And, you know, instead of so focusing on your script or what to say to the person, be more in tune with your goal of what you want out of it. And that was one of the biggest things that I got out of it. On besides that as well, the feedback, the live feedback from other people in the room, that was key. You know what I mean? Because it's like, you know, not only coming from Eric, but coming from everybody else, getting their feedback and their inputs, and just knowing, you know, other people like myself who aren't too savvy on the phone. And then like Aaliyah, just, you know, someone who Eric was throwing curveballs at, but she just, you know, she was there, she was locked in. So being able to see that firsthand instead of on a Zoom was for me very powerful. So that's what I engaged while I was there and took from it.
I love it. And you know what? You already have amazing, I mean, tremendous communication skills. I promise you, once you just start practicing a few of those things, it's like, all right, there it is right there, right? I'm actually reading this book and I made some notes this morning. And I think that there's this misconception sometimes that we need to have like selling phrases or selling words or tip of the tongue, like fire words. And so sometimes what we do when we're on the phones or when we're interacting with people is we're stuck thinking about what we're going to say, right? We're like, ooh, if they say that, okay, cool. I know I've practiced, I've rehearsed all these things, right? So I wrote this like tip of the tongue, fire words. Some think of language as a tool to be mastered rather than a tools of developing great relationships. So what we need to do is we need to encourage the flow of ideas that we build together when we're having communication with consumers, right? It's one thing to know about the market. It's one thing to know, different phrases. That's important, right? But it's important at certain times, right? We should never be talking to a consumer and thinking it's like, all right, let me have this conversation develop organically, and then I'll know where to go based on my experience. And so I'm glad that you said that, Otis, because this is a really, really powerful conversation. Let's hear from one other person. What were some of your takeaways from yesterday's session? Anybody else want to chime in? Anybody else? Okay, cool. Let's move on. Let's do this. Was that a hand up? I'm sorry, Vanessa.
I was there. I can talk.
Yeah.
I was a little late because of Oakland School District, but it was awesome. I definitely need to figure out how to fit going to another one into my schedule. Eric had mentioned the best calls on Slack.
Yep.
So afterwards, I went back to the office and sat down and listened to a whole bunch of those. And he had one on there that I really liked because he was just very like you're talking to your friend. So when we were role playing in the meeting, a lot of people would sound really professional and serious. And that would just be red flag to me as a caller, and I'd hang up because I'd feel like it was a gimmick and someone was trying to like swindle me or bamboozle me or something. So I really liked when people were keeping it very personal and like, hey, I'm just your friendly local real estate agent calling you. What's up? How are you? Like, I don't know. I like that style a bit more. But
Yeah,
the best calls
no.
place was nice. It was a good spot.
And listen, those are the best calls when it's simply conversational, right? Checking in, oh, well, cool, man. Like, yeah, I talked to you a couple months back. I was stoked to talk to you then. Like, what's going on? And I know the call, a few of the calls. And so you have to get into the point where it's just like you're talking to your friend at the bar, right? Like, are you having this like simple dialogue to where it's really, really easy just to go back and forth and like volley back and forth. So Vanessa, I absolutely love that. Nicole, you had your hand up.
Yeah, I was gonna piggyback on what Vanessa and what Otis both said, because I both Aaliyah and Ernesto brought a lot of insight to calling for me. I like the way Ernesto positions himself for the calls. Like he gave one scenario in coaching the other day, but it's like when he's getting ready for the calls, like he already knows, okay, this is how I'm gonna hit them. This is how they should react. Kind of thing. So it's a smoother transition. And I like the way that Aaliyah probes for information with all the open-ended questions. It made me think about the way that I ask things to make sure I'm not getting like yes or no's, but to really feel the pain of why they need to move or why they need to sell.
Totally. I love this. Because here's what most people do, and this is a learned practice years and years and years. But what a lot of people do is they put a barrier up when they're on the phone, right? They'll ask one question that will give them an instant barrier. And then you go into like this panic mode, like, let me know, have a wonderful day. I'm going to put you on my drip system. It's like your catch-all, right? But like a skilled communicator knows how to identify things. Like, okay, cool. Is that just an excuse? Or let me just ask a few more questions. And the questions are going to, I always look at it as discovery, confirmation. And based on that discovery, now I'm going to lead me into, yeah, it just sounds like we should probably get together and do a buyer's consult or whatever it is, right? But ask and ask and ask and ask. And I think that that's a really good thing that you picked up, Nicole. I think Ernesto does it very well and Aaliyah does it very, very well. So it's actually funny that you guys bring this up because I'm reading this book and one of the chapters right now, it's the new philosophy of commitment gaining. And it talks a lot about Greek philosophy and how the Greeks lived in philosophy. And one of the things that they talked about, and hopefully I'm pronouncing it right, maybe I am, maybe I'm not, but it's caveat ventinor. And it's C-A-V-E-A-T, and the second word is V-E-N-D-I-T-O-R. Originally, and it stood for buyer beware. And in the old days, it was like you sold them, you're almost like taking advantage of people and your services or your goods, or like you got over on somebody. Well, now things have changed and times have changed and history has changed. And the phrase more so turns into like seller beware, meaning like am I aware of how this will impact my clients? And am I really speaking that language to a client when I'm on a presentation, when I'm on the phones? And they wrote out in the book like 6 mindsets for a great salesperson, and obviously confidence, caring, persistence, but speaking from the client's mind, right? Being able to communicate with the client the way that the way that they want to receive information, realizing the process is not about you at all, right? When you remove yourself from this process, when you're booking an appointment, when you're on a presentation, we heard from a small team panelist the other day. And she said, I have never once, she's like, I know the numbers in my head. I've never calculated my commission, ever. I'm not going into the scenario calculating my commission because instantly that's the thing I'm going to think about. She's like, I don't do that. So we have to realize that this process is not about you at all, and we have to embrace all of their concerns. Consumers want to be heard. They want to know that somebody is looking out for them. And like I said on Monday, they need to feel a sense of safety with you. And so you need to realize that none of this has anything to do with us. And we have to position that in our wording. And it's just like, hey, I'm just here to serve and here to help. Ilona, you had your hand up.
I'm hoping you can answer a quick technical question because I can't get a hold of anybody else, not my mentor. Do I have control of Yolopo? Because I just got a text message that I did not send out that went out to one of my leads. And there's like a full automated conversation happening with one of my leads. And I'm not in control of it.
So reach out to John, or actually reach out to Ben on Slack. That way we can handle that for you. But it might be a good thing. Is it a good conversation?
It is a good conversation, but I already have a set appointment for Tuesday to do an in-person seller.
All right. So then, yeah, we just got to stop the automated responses.
Yeah, she's thinking it's a new agent or something. So she's older. She's getting confused.
Okay. Yeah, we can stop that. We can stop that.
Okay.
So you guys, I wanted to ask a question, and let's use this platform for an opportunity for us to grow, to contribute, and to thrive on the highest levels. So right now, if there was something that you were challenged on or in, if there was an idea that you want to share, if there was something that you feel like you just need a little bit of support on, what would that be? If you have a question about something that maybe it's a process question, it's a communication question, it's a how do I present this question? Like, I want to hear from you guys, and here's why. There's people on this call right now that have 10, 20, 30 years of experience. There's people on the call that are masters at video. There's people on the calls that have mastered their YLOPO follow-up, whatever it is. So is there any questions or thoughts or any dialogue that you guys want to share right now that we might be able to open it up to other people on the call? Because I think there's some powerful, powerful conversations that could come out of that. Does anybody have anything that they want to ask? Feel free, A, to take yourself off of mute, or B, you can just put that in the chat below. So I want to open it up to you guys. Is there anything that you guys feel like you're challenged with right now? Any questions, any thoughts? I see Melody smile. Anything that you guys want to share, that way we can kind of address it here as a group.
Yeah, I mean, good morning, team.
Good morning, Mel.
I love being back. I'm just like boiling with so many ideas. Thank you, Elias, for like doing this. You guys, he pours so much energy into us. We need to pour some energy back into this dude because of everything that he contributes to this community. So like, let me get an emoji for Elias really quick, right? Like a reaction below, like a little, round of applause.
Thanks, Mel. Appreciate you.
I personally, one thing that I'm struggling with is I would love to get better at public speaking. Like personally, that's just something that I would love to brushing my skills up on. And I know that there's probably some other people on the call that want the same thing. So maybe we can like collaborate on that or like teach each other how to sound better on video. But like we're pushed to do video as agents all the time, right? And I know Team Fast is a big supporter of like doing video and doing events. And I think that it's important that like our messaging, our tonality, the way that we present ourselves in front of the community is just as important. And so I would love to learn a little bit more. And I would love to learn more from you, Elias, because you're obviously amazing at it. And who better than to learn from, right?
Here's the thing, let's learn together, and I appreciate you saying that. So I have a question, and I asked this with the mentors yesterday. How many people know, first off, what Toastmasters is? Please raise your hand or give me a reaction below if you know what that organization is. Okay, cool. So I need at least 20 people in order for us to start our own Toastmasters in Oakland. So that's what I'm in the process of doing right now. All I need is 20 people to launch that group. I'll be able to get the details, the frequency of when that's going to happen. We'll get everything laid out for you guys, that way you know. But I want to get us all together. We'll have the framework of how to conduct a Toastmasters meeting. What are the things that we're looking for? We're giving out ribbons for, you know, table topics and all these things that they do in Toastmasters, and then the commitment. So all I need is 20 people, and it doesn't have to be in Oakland. I'm thinking that we can do it in Walnut Creek as well as Oakland, but first and foremost, I think that we'll start in Oakland. But if you guys are in, all right, cool. So Colette says she's in, Nicole's in, Melody's in. I love this. That's okay, cool.
Hey, Elias,
yo,
what is Toastmaster?
cool. So who asked that question, Jim?
Yeah.
So Toastmasters is an in-person public speaking workshop to where you go in, you're with a group of people, they have a grammarian that helps you kind of like track all of your ums and ahs and pauses and so's and likes and all these things to make sure that your message is very clear when it is delivered. They also will put you on the spot and have you do a speech. So it's like, okay, here is a red piece of paper that was built in 1918. Can you build a story on that? You have 2 minutes and go. Now you have to tell this story to the team, and then other people go, and then the team votes on who had the best story of the night, and then why that person had the best. They also do like monthly, you come in, you have a topic, and you have to deliver a presentation. Heart, feeling, energy. You have to open it up, you have to summarize it, and then you have to close it, kind of like an essay, right? So it's a beautiful way to not only deliver your communication, but it's a great way to structure the presentation in a way that the masses can hear it. So Jim, I went to those classes early on, and I tell you what, it is an absolute game changer. And then it's just like, okay, cool. This is just my team. I'm cool getting in front of them. You know, I want to prepare for the masses, because Jim, say you're at this job fair and they say, hey, we asked every vendor to do a 3-minute conversation with everybody. We're going to bring them in the room. Like, I want you to be like, cool, I cannot wait. Give me the mic, right? So Melody, to address that and come full circle, 100% yes. It's something that we've been talking about, and now finally it's all coming full circle. So I would love to see you in that group.
Okay, and then just one more little thing, just one
Yeah,
thing.
okay, that's why we opened it.
I just wanted to have everyone welcome my uncle Mike. Michael Javaharian is on the call.
Uncle Mike?
Yeah, he's all the way from Florida. He's in Boca Raton. He's studying to get his Florida real estate license, you guys. And I told him about this group coaching and how amazing our community is. And I was like, just hop on, learn some stuff with us while you're studying. So I wanted to give him a fast family welcome and, congratulate him from taking this big step and getting into real estate. So it's really exciting.
Well, Mike, how you doing?
I'm good. How are you guys? Can you hear me?
Good. We can, man. Well, nice to have you here.
Thank you very much. Thanks for doing this and letting me into your team here.
You got it, brother. Look, quick question. What was Melody like as a child?
Oh,
She's got a lot of energy. That's number one. She's very, very passionate, energetic about anything, cooking, walking, whatever she does, she's full of passion. That's one thing for sure.
Was she sassy? Was she sassy as an adolescent?
Well, I didn't grow up with her in that time. She was in California. I was in Florida. So I don't know the sassiness of it, but I know every time I see her on vacation or when she's down or I'm there, she's just bubbly and personable and likable. So that's she's in the right field. That's for sure.
That's right. That's right. Well, Uncle Mike, it's great to have you here. We're looking forward to supporting you any way that we can, no matter where you are.
Thank you.
Support you. So nice to have you here. So good question. So Melody said, I want to grow and I have a challenge and I want to get better. Obviously, and Mel, by the way, I think you're a great public speaker already, but we all can get better and improve. So what else, you guys? What are some other challenges, questions, things that have came up in this last week that maybe you want to talk about here? Because this is a good platform. I want to look at this more so as not only coaching, but this has also been a really, really good mastermind, right? So anybody have any thoughts, any challenges, anything that they want to share, anything that they want to bring up? And listen, don't be shy. This is an environment for us to all get better. Anybody else have anything? Going around the room. Let's see here.
Hey, Liz.
Yo, what's up? Who is that? Is that Kim?
Kim.
Hi, Kim.
Hi, how are you?
I am well. How are you?
Good. I just turned my camera on. I'm in the office, at the Fairfield office. So I have kind of a small challenge, and it's not that big of a deal, but I noticed that because I'm really involved with the community. I have ARIA, I have the school district, and also I guess being on Team Fast, it's kind of hard for people not to notice us, right? Which is not a bad thing. So how do I say this? I'm getting a lot of like compliments, but then I'm also getting like hate. Like they'll say stuff because they're, I guess, threatened that I'm with EXP and threatened that I'm going to recruit. And I am, but I don't do it very like aggressively. So I went to an event yesterday and it's just, I don't know how, if anybody's dealing with it or how they're dealing with it, but people are threatened because I know a lot of people. And I went to an event, I saw my old brokerage, Remax, and I'm nice to everybody. It was a collaboration event. There was like our chapter, Women's Council, Realtors, and our association. And I said, hey, how's it going? Like to the brokerage. And they totally like ignored me. Like just said, oh, and turn around. It was like, you can tell. So I'm trying to not, let it get to me. But at the same time, it's like everybody can be doing, like everybody can recruit. And now we have such an amazing opportunity with EXP and our team, and people are threatened. And it's like, I'm getting so much more of it, so I feel like, I guess the more haters you have, you're making it. I don't know. But how do people, how do you deal with it?
I love this, and I want to open this up for because we have some people that have already close to 40, 50 people in their organization. So let's think back a couple months ago. Kenny was blacklisted from the side conference. He wasn't allowed to go to the side conference. Why? Because they're fearful, right?
Right.
And when we think about this growth, EXP just hit 80,000 individuals and team members on this company, and that number is rapidly growing. And by the year 2032, the goal is to be at 500,000 agents. And I believe with certainty and conviction that we're going to hit that. Now, you're not going in saying that I'm here to recruit, but people know that there is such a huge value added at EXP that they might not have. They're going to be fearful and they're going to hate on you. And at the end of the day, you can't change that. You just can't change that.
Right.
You just have to know that what you are doing is an act of service. And if they don't like you,
right,
unfollow you and don't come to your event. That's it. Because you're going to keep going. You're going to keep growing. You're going to keep on building your organization. And your organization has grown tremendously. And what you're doing is you're going to get supplemental income checks. And it's just like, it's not a bad thing. It's only a bad thing if they don't understand. Right? It's not a bad thing.
Right.
They just don't understand what it actually is. And so all they're going to do is just judge from afar. And if that's the case, then we can't really change that, Kim. So I'd love to hear what everybody else thinks about this. Melody, let's hear from you. Let's go to Quan. Excuse me.
First of all, Kim, I totally understand where you're coming from. Like, I hear you, girl. I have dealt with the same exact thing in the past. And I just wanted to say just a couple of, just tips that have worked for me. First of all, don't worry about what other people think about you. It's a mindset thing, right? You need to walk into every room with confidence, knowing that you're not, just a recruiter or, a salesperson. You are there to contribute, to collaborate, to help other people and to be a part of making a difference in people's lives and having an impact, right? That's why you're there. And I know you and I know you're a contributor. So that's the mindset you need to go into every room with. Because if you're going in with the mindset of I'm going to recruit, then guess what? People are going to feel that, right? And second of all, the best recruiters don't recruit. That's the number one thing, is the best recruiters don't recruit. Don't try to recruit.
Right.
You don't even talk about EXP when you walk in any room or in any conversation. Don't even mutter the words EXP anywhere you go. That's not how you recruit. The highest level recruiters that I have seen literally just walk into a room and they say, how can I contribute to you? How can I help your business? What are you going through right now that I can help you with? And if they ask you, and say, oh, well, you got a great thing going on over there. Tell me a little bit more about it. You can tell them a little bit more about it. I still at that point wouldn't mention anything about EXP. I would just say, well, you know what? Our team is great. We have these really cool group coaching calls 3 times a week. Like our director of sales and coaching, Elias, like his energy is so high and he, uplifts all of us. We've got all these events going on in our offices. Like it is just such a fun and collaborative place to work. Like I've been really happy ever since, I joined this environment, and I am exposed to so many people now that I would have never met if it wasn't for, my community and for my team. I just talked about EXP without talking about EXP, right?
Right.
Did that sound like I was recruiting you?
No.
It was talking about your experience, right? Your real genuine experience. Talk about that and speak to, speak to them. Like don't let it be about you. Make it about them. Talk to them about their business. What are you going through that I can help you with? What challenges are you up against? Or, what goals are you trying to hit this year? How can I help you with that?
Yep.
Be a contributor, not a recruiter. That's not what you want to be known for.
Right.
sure.
And I don't like recruit. I mean, I don't feel like I recruit. I do exactly what you do. And I think that's why I've been successful with the people that, is under me. And I know a lot of people and a lot of people trust me. And then when the conversation comes up, I know big players in these companies. Like for instance, Vicky, she's the one that threw the event. She's like a top producer with Remax. And so the manager was there. Everybody was there like guarding her. And I'm like, I've known her for like 15 years. Like if she comes over, it's because she wants to. She's actually going to host an event at our office because she does ADU, right? So I'm like, you need to come to Oakland to our space because we have an amazing culture. And she's a VP of this company for ADU. I'm like, you need to come and educate everybody. And so they're just so threatened. And it's like, I try to have the mentality of, I don't give a shit what people think. But at the end of the day, like I'm sure Kenny, I'm sure you, Elias, you feel too. We're all human beings. It's like you say, hey, what's up? And it's like they just turn around, like ignore you. It's just like after a while, it's like, what the hell?
It's because people think that we're going to EXP on them and we're not, right? Like we're literally, and at the end of the day, like we're throwing 100 events this year and not one of them will be branded EXP or Team Fast, right? So at the end of the day, like, yeah, it might hurt a little bit, but it's like, are those the people that you really want in your circle anyways? Right? It's like,
no, I don't.
At the end of the day, it's like if you're going to shun me because I'm with this amazing company that's changing the real estate landscape, then maybe that's not somebody I want to roll with anyways, right?
Right.
If there's not somebody that's a true friend, if it was a friend that wants to not talk to you anymore, then maybe that wasn't even a friend to begin with, right? So just don't even take it personal. There's going to be people that don't get it, but it's okay. It's absolutely okay. We have quite a few hands up, and so I wanted to go over to Quan. It was one of the first people that I hand up. Quan, was it a new question or was it a contribution to this particular question?
This is a new one. So first and foremost, good morning, everyone. Happy Friday. Hope everyone is crushing it. So, this is actually, I am actually, experiencing something I never experienced before, which is kind of a, so for me, what's been working is the open houses. That's been a number one source for, for the solid leads. But for the past 3 open houses that I've done, it's been interesting because the interaction that I'm having with people while I'm there, it's like it feels genuine, it feels strong, right? And I'm providing value. especially like I've been tweaking the formula. The last open house I did last weekend, I actually got everyone's actual real phone number because I provided value. I gave everyone like a list of vacant homes in that area and told them, hey, these are homes that can potentially be more motivated sellers, right? So everyone was very receptive to getting all these things, and we're down to continue the conversation. But then like the next day or the next week, I'm doing my follow-up, right? I call the first day and then I leave a text message, and I call the second day, do the same thing. I do the third day, do the same thing, and it's been crickets. And that's been happening for 3 consecutive open houses. So I'm like, okay, what am I doing that's maybe causing that? Or I don't know. It's just, so this is something new to me. So I just want to share that. I want to see, want to get people's reaction, or like what should I be doing differently? What are other people doing, with the open houses, or with conversation with people on the follow-up? Maybe I might be too aggressive, I might not aggressive enough. I just want to get people's feedback on that.
Yeah, this is a good question. And if you have some dialogue for Quan, let's do this because we have a lot of hands up. Give me a reaction with a heart. That way I can just call on you. Or if you just want to take yourself off of mute and help, like Ernesto, good stuff, man. Let's go to you. Like, what are your thoughts and your insight on this, man? Because this is something that a lot of us are faced with.
Juan, I know that that I admire you, so this comes from a good place. But if you hit me up 3 days in a row and you call and text me, I would block your number. Like, it's too much for me, and that's just me being real. Also, like, you give me a list of vacant homes. Like, why? Like, what makes you assume that I am looking for a vacant home? So those are just a couple of 2 things. Like, my goal with open house, and I love houses. I've expressed that that's where I feel the most comfortable, between video, cold calling, being the only realtor in a room for 2 hours, engaging with people that want to buy and sell real estate. Like, the face-to-face communication is where I thrive the most. My job is like open house. I just want to make a good first impression. I want to flyer so that I can just collect their information, and I don't follow up the same day. So when I hear people say, oh, I follow up the same day, that doesn't work for me. It just doesn't work for me. I want to give their space. They might be with their realtor. They might be looking at other homes that day. Who am I to like that day call them? It just doesn't align with my personality. I wait 2 days. And I just, hey, Quan, I met you at an open house a couple of days ago. The purpose of my call is to find out what I can do to help you along your journey of purchasing a home. Let me learn kind of where you are and see where I could add value to you. That is absolutely it. I get no pushback. I've gotten people, Ernesto, I'm in sales, and the fact that you follow it is amazing. Ernesto, I'm going to be honest with you, I'm working with a realtor. But if we change your mind, in fact, my closing today, my record today or Monday, when I met them at the open house, Ernesto, honestly, we're really impressed by you. We have a realtor. I said, cool, I'm not going to take you from your realtor. If you feel like I can do a better job of helping you, then you call me the ball's in your court. It's a different energy. So hopefully that's helpful for you.
That, that's really, really
appreciate that,
Ernesto. And Quan, I want to ask you a question.
Yeah.
And you might not have the answer, but maybe it's something that you think about in the next open house that you go to. Like, how much do I know about these people based on my questions? How do they feel with their interaction with me? And how much am I actually talking, right? Like, they don't really, because what's the old saying? Like, people don't really care what you know until they know that you care. If you're just giving a bunch of information, I'm like, okay, cool, thanks a lot. Like, how many questions did you ask me about my family? Did you remember my kids' names? Do you remember what neighborhood I lived in? Do you remember why I came to this neighborhood in the first place, right? Or am I trying to let them know that I'm this expert? I know all this stuff. And I'm like, great, Quan, thank you for all that. What about me? So I want you to be conscious and cognizant of that communication and that dialogue. So I appreciate you throwing that out there. Anybody else want to respond to Kwanzaa's question? Or go ahead, Colette.
Yeah, I had a similar situation. I usually do follow up the same day. I like to do like that evening. I'll send a little video, thanks for coming, just really short with I make a list and I put it in notes ahead of time. with just some highlights about the property, the details, and a link to the disclosures, and and so it's just like boom, in case you're still interested, and thanks for coming. So I do think that timeliness is important without like pouncing on them. But I've had people where this one guy, I finally caught him yesterday. I've been trying to catch up with this guy. I met him in Maxwell Park, open house. Him and his wife want to buy, they want to sell their other house. So I'm like, hey, just once a week, just kind of like touch. And they kind of went dark. Well, yesterday he answered the phone and he said, hey, Colette, yeah, I remember we were talking. He goes, we're dealing with some health issues. Somebody in the household, he didn't, but he alluded to cancer. So it was like, I'm so sorry. I just immediately was like, I'm so sorry to hear that. I'm gonna, let you guys be on pause, take your time. I'm sending you positive energy, and I'll just, if you don't mind, I'll just leave you on the drip that's, updating you about your area, and call me if you need anything, and I dropped a card in the mail, say, wishing you the best. But we don't know what people are going through, and people are very busy too. People are, look at us, we're juggling 2,500 balls at once, so it just takes time and consistency, but not like hammer, just like
I love that.
spread it out a little bit.
Good insight.
So let's do this. Melody, you're a freaking bomb. You just broke it all down and spoke like a, I can't with you.
Let's see. Let's
Thank
Clarence,
you.
you had your hand up. Clarence, is this a new contribution, new question, or was it add on to one of the prior questions?
It was add on to the prior question regarding recruiting.
Yeah.
The way I looked at that is I had to look at it from the perspective of the broker themselves. But you have to realize they're not able to grow their agency as fast as the way EXP is growing their agency. And if you, not to say that you came in with the mindset of I'm going to recruit, but if one of their top agents left, that's a big blow to them. It's a big blow to their company, bottom line, what they pay for office space and everything else. So to look at it from that way, yeah, they see it as a threat, even though that's not your problem or intent to do that. But when I look at it from the flip side, that's how I get that understanding of how they felt about you when you walked into the room.
Good insight. Joellen, you had your hand up. Is this a new question, new contribution, or are you adding on to a prior question? You're muted. Joellen, you're muted.
Well, sorry. Oh, my camera's on, but I'm driving. I don't think Quan did anything wrong, and he shouldn't have the mindset of that. I think he did exactly what he should, which was follow up. People do get busy, right? And he probably called during the week when they went to work, but maybe try one in the morning and one in the evening. But keep following up until they tell you, no, leave me alone, block my number. I think you're doing great.
Yeah. You know what? I remember my mentor saying, follow up with them until they buy, sell, or die. It's like literally, right? Literally, that's what my mentor told me.
How many times does the lady at the coffee shop come up to you and tell you, hey, would ask you for a refill? And how many times does she get told no?
Yeah.
But does she worry about it? No, she keeps asking. So
that's right.
And I would add to that, I was talking to Veronica Figueroa last week. If you guys don't know who she is, she was the #1 team in the entire world for EXP. She sold over 2,000 homes last year with her team, and she probably makes around $60,000 a month, every single month on RevShare. This lady is bomb. Like, I look up to her. And she told me, literally word for word, if you want the recording, I'm happy to send it to you. She said it's actually irresponsible of us if we don't let people know about this opportunity, because it is 100% your duty to let people know if there's something that is changing your life and putting money back in your pocket, supporting your business, and giving you a retirement plan. And if you're not letting people know about it, then it's irresponsible of you. but she does it in a graceful way. She doesn't talk about EXP. She talks about, how can I contribute to you? Oh, and by the way, here's how, you know, this company is contributing to my life. So now it's like the conversation is different, right? It's a different conversation. You're not talking about EXP. So that changed my world when I heard that. I was like mind blown.
You know, we talked to a guy a couple of weeks ago. We've known him for a few months now, but he has one of the top amount of people in his organization, 7,600 people in his organization, $1.5 million every single month. Anyways, where's your pants at? He said that I look at this as a true blessing for everybody. And I'm doing somebody a disservice if I'm not giving them and talking about this blessing. So I totally agree with that, Mel. Hector, you had your hand up, bro. Is there a new question, concern, thought, or you're adding on to one of the other contributions?
Hey, boss. Adding on to Kwanzaa real fast, just real quick. I want to remind us about, I think a couple of weeks ago, you talked about following up with intent. I think that when you're in person and you're doing the open houses and you're asking for the business or whatnot, setting up that follow-up and putting a date, but pay attention to cues because it's not going to apply to everyone. But if they're ready to go and they really like the information you gave them and they're giving you that energy, just book to say, hey, are you available Tuesday? Look like it's vacant, as you mentioned. I'll go ahead and show it to you. And right then and there, you can book that appointment without having to wait to follow. Just pay attention to those cues on how engaged they are when you're giving them that info. That's all I have to say.
Yeah, that's really quality stuff, man. I love it. Nick Guzman, you had your hand up, bro. Is that a new contribution you thought, new insight, or something you want to add on?
Yeah, both. You know, so just to kind of piggyback you know, as far as with Juan, you know, I would say, you know, obviously we've never met or whatever. I'm pretty new over here at Team Fast, but one of the things that helped me spark my business at the beginning was definitely open houses. And, you know, I used to run them very, very strategically. And it was probably just because of my background, you know, and I used to literally stand at the door with 2 or 3 clipboards. And when open houses were super popping, I'd have 100, 200 people sign in, okay, and built my business that way. But the main thing I would say, like hearing what you're saying, I think the one thing that stood out to me the most is when you were talking about vacant homes. You know, so vacant homes, that's more tends to be a hot button for investors. So investors, of course, they're always going to want to know where's the vacant homes. They're looking for the next deal. A buyer, they have no clue what that's about. But the hot button, the main hot button for a new buyer, if you want to just kind of pivot your speech, is just ask them, just say, hey, has anybody showed you any off-market inventory yet? You know, because that's the one thing, is that we lack inventory. So if you're providing value in an area that nobody talks about, you know, that just kind of gets curiosity, and curiosity gets people to move. So, you know, I would just kind of pivot on what you're saying in regards to, you know, trying to hand out a list. And then I wouldn't have a list of off-market inventory. I would keep it super casual and generic. That way you could just open up the dialogue. And for me, yeah, I actually would email the right people, not everybody, but the ones that I feel like I had the biggest connection. If I have 100 people sign in, maybe there's 5 or 6 of them that I had great, you know, interaction with them. Those are the only ones I'll send an email, but it's just a hello email. It's just like, hey, Quan, I just wanted to shoot you a quick email. You know, it was great. It was a pleasure meeting you earlier today. Here's that link to, you know, just a little bit of information about the Bay Area buying process, or here's a link to get to know me a little bit more. And that link is just your high note presentation, and that's it. Anything more, you're just selling. That's it, you know, and people are going to do business if they like you. So that's kind of what I do. And then I leave them alone. And then I would give them a call a couple days later, and that's it. As far as like calling, like, you know, every day, a couple times a day, like I personally don't like that. I get spammed probably 20, 30, 40 times a day right now because I've had the same cell phone for over 20 years. So I would kind of refrain from that, me personally. But that's kind of like the only advice, but it still takes boldness. I mean, what you're doing is great. I mean, you're actually taking a step. There's so many realtors out there who just stand there, and they're just standing there like a pole, and they're not even engaging. They're not even talking. It's just kind of like they're not even there at the open house. The open house is designed because that's your storefront, you know, but it matters is how you properly prepare for that storefront, and how you properly prepare your pitch, you know, whatever it may be. Everybody's going to be different. Some people are going to be good at sign-ins. Some people Like I told a couple real estate agents a couple weeks ago, and I said, look, don't have a sign-in sheet if you're on the third weekend of the open house, because chances are there might not be a lot of people to come sign in. So what you should do, if you're really all about the list, go use this app. You can download right on your iPad, and it's more, it's a little bit more professional, and people will never see the lack of people who are signing in. So if you're using a sign-in sheet, it might work for maybe the first weekend or the second weekend of open houses, but you just got to pivot. So I don't know what you're doing there, as far as how to collect people's phone numbers and stuff like that, but that's all I wanted to say. That's all I wanted to contribute.
Yeah, there was a glitch right there when you said the actual app. If you
Spacio.
Yep. Okay, cool. Very cool. And Kwanzaa, just to come full circle on this, man, you've had great success. Couple weeks you didn't. So I don't think that you have a pattern of being unsuccessful with connecting, but I think that minor adjustments will give you a completely different outcome over time. And here's the thing, you guys, this morning I was thinking about, it's like, let's just shift the conversation back to you guys and look at this. We had 3 or 4 great topics. We've had an amazing dialogue around this. Now we're all adding contributions in the thoughts and the ideas of the collective wisdom. So we're going to do more of these styles. Like I said, be on the lookout for the keepitmovingcoachingquestions.com. It's going to be a type form for you to put in any questions, any concerns, any thoughts about growth. What I don't want to have on there is a bunch of transactional questions. We can make sure to direct those to Karina and the Oracle during her sessions. But when it comes to building, when it comes to struggles like this, challenges, thoughts, ideas, let's come together. And then I might say, you know what, hey, Chris, Antoine, Ricky, Kim, Uncle Mike, Chris, I think you guys are key people to answer these questions. And so then we can keep everything super, super fresh. And so I just want to give everyone a huge shout out for putting their questions and their thoughts and concerns out there. And then, I'll make sure that everyone has the link. It doesn't exist yet, but I will make sure everyone has the link. But I want to just say that that contribution at the highest level, that's what's winning right now in our business, right? So I want to make sure that you guys are getting the most out of these rooms and that we're always elevating. So really, really great stuff. I want to hear from a couple people.
Hey, Elias, real quick, can I chime in real quick?
Yes, sir.
Hey, sorry, I'll make it real quick. First of all, I really appreciate everyone's feedback. I mean, this is why I love this team, this culture of just really everybody building on top of each other. Man, there's nothing like it. Then the number 2, even though I'm frustrated and I know, like, I also, have standards for myself or whatever, but like, I do see some wins last week. For one, I got everyone's real phone number. That was the first time where, like, there was like 9 groups, and and everyone gave their real phone number because I checked it. I was like, oh, did you get it? Okay, cool. So I know that was working. And 2, I think everyone should definitely use Google Forms. It is an amazing tool. You get all your, like there's no deciphering what people wrote because it's not handwritten, right? Everything is typed in. It's automatically put on a spreadsheet for you. And you can just, you can put that number right into follow-up box and then hit them up. I'll be happy to share the one I created. I know Jim has a fire one as well. And I'm gonna be constantly tweaking mine, but yeah, Google Forms, that's the way to go.
Love it. Love it. Good stuff, Kwanzaa. Sarah, let's go to you really quick. Key takeaway from today's session. Sarah Betchart, what are some key takeaways from today's group coaching?
Oh my gosh, that's the first time I've talked on here. Way to break me in. Well, I mean, I learned a lot today. I had a lot of questions about the open houses since I just started doing those the last 2 weeks. So what is the main thing? I've been taking notes this entire time.
Yeah, just give us 1 or 2 of your takeaways.
2 of my takeaways. This might sound silly, reminder, I'm new, but I didn't even realize that people were sending the links to properties and the disclosures with the follow-ups from the contacts from people from the open houses. I haven't been doing that. So that's a great takeaway. And then I guess another one was reminding you that you want to help others with finding a home rather than thinking so much about yourself, thinking more about others, not so much about you, but about other people.
Yes, yeah. I love that, Sarah. And realizing the process is not about you at all. at all.
Right.
This isn't about us. It's completely about them. So really good stuff. And Sarah, thanks for speaking up and thanks for participating. Ernesto, you had a big hand up, bro. Let's just have you give us your takeaways. And then since we're at 9:30, I'll have you close this out.
Yeah, I actually wanted to thank Sam. Her first name I would completely butcher, but Sam was in the call or in the room with us with Eric yesterday. But I learned something from her that it hit me in the face, like, oh my God, I'm not doing that. And she's getting listing leads from all of her internet leads. Like when she is doing her intake, she is asking, and do you currently rent or own? It sounds so basic. And I was like, oh my God, I am not doing that. So I don't know if she's on the call, but just because like I put myself in these rooms and I'm on these calls because I'm always learning from everybody else. So definitely not too good to learn from someone who's much newer than me. And so that was a huge takeaway for me, just asking that question because she's getting listing leads out of it.
Beautiful, beautiful. And Sam is relatively new. She's just on her first couple transactions. And so sometimes like those back to basics, you're like, wait a minute, I haven't asked, wait a minute, why did I stop asking that question? So I love it, you guys. Really, really good work today. Hopefully you guys enjoyed like this mastermind of thoughts. And like, that's what I said, we'll do the keep it moving questions at keepitmovingcoaching.com. That way you guys can put your weekly questions in there. We could unpack that and address it here. So we are constantly reaching and achieving more. So thank you guys. Have a wonderful, wonderful weekend. I'm going to go see a couple concerts. I'm going to have some fun. I'm going to have Mexican breakfast tomorrow. I'm going to have chorizo and eggs and all that stuff. So
What you know about the chorizo and eggs?
Oh, bro, come on, man. Come on, man. All right. You guys have a wonderful, wonderful weekend. Cynthia and Eric, if you guys can stay on, I would be grateful. Thank you for all of your contributions, vulnerability, and everything that you gave to the team today. Peace.
Love y'all. Peace.
Love you, man.